Welcome everyone to the first episode of Mr. Movie Review Tuesdays. First off, please disregard any kind of background noise you hear. We have like 2 gaming sessions going on at the same time, and I couldn't get them the hell out of here. Today on today's episode, we are going to be reviewing the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Now, the reason I decided to go ahead and do this one is because when this video gets posted, it will be the 1-year anniversary of Wes Craven's death, and this is sort of a tribute memorial video to him. With me today we have my niece, Not So Blonde Girl, that's her handle. So she's probably going to be appearing with me a few other videos from time to time. So let's get started. We're going to go ahead and start with the first one, Elm Street 1. What are your thoughts on that one?
I'm not a fan of the first one as much as I am some of the other ones, but the first one still tops the remake for me.
By the way, we will be touching on the remake. Considering they amped up the pedophile storyline in that one, that was probably a poor choice of words.
That really was a poor choice of words.
For me, I like the original one. It definitely had a darker edge to it, as opposed to what you see later on in the series of movies. Not my favorite one, but still a really good one. And you can tell the kind of the direction Wes Craven was planning on going with the whole series in that one.
Yeah, it does show that what you're getting into when you start watching them.
And it was a very original story for it, for when it came out. No one had ever kind of touched on, the dream thing before, which was pretty cool. For me, part 2, one big long gay joke. I'm not saying that to be homophobic, but yeah, there's just like so many underlying gay tones in that one. It was ridiculous. But I did like the establishing shot, the school bus scene. For me, that was pretty much the coolest thing in the whole movie. Aside from the shower scene when Freddy just...
I was about to say, the shower scene for me would probably be the better scene in part 2. Granted, part 2 is right up there with how much I dislike it with the remake. Because to me, part 2 just kind of throws off the show, and then, you get back to part 3 and... that gets your hopes back up.
Let's see, with part 3 though, it's when they really kind of start establishing Freddy as not so dark. He gets into a little bit more of his more sort of theatrical antics.
Yeah.
Part 3 is actually my favorite one in the entire series.
Yes.
And it had the best line in the whole movie, which was completely improvised by Robert Englund. It's the scene where the girl gets her head shoved into the TV and he says, "Welcome to prime time, bitch." Completely improvised by Robert Englund.
No, to me in that one, yeah, that's an awesome death scene. But for me, I love it when she's the hard ass and then all of his fingers become needles, and he's taking her on that trip for, leading to her death.
Yeah, I believe they call that overdose. Yeah, pretty good. I really liked how they brought back some of the characters that survived from the first one, Nancy and her dad.
Yeah.
Wasn't too pleased about the fact that they killed Nancy, but, what the hell. And we'll go into part 4. Which is actually my second favorite one in the series.
It really is. And for me, part 4 was great following part 3. They kind of timed that perfectly for me.
Yeah. I think my only issue with part 4 is they didn't get Patricia Arquette back in the role of Kristen. Can't believe I forgot her name. They got Tuesday Night to replace her, and incidentally, Tuesday Night also sang the theme song for part 4, the intro song, which I like the song, but I thought Patricia Arquette did a better job as Kristen as opposed to Tuesday Night.
Yes, that is agreeable with. But then again, you have to admire the fact that, at least with her playing it, you got the whole dumb blonde feeling more.
Yeah, with Patricia Arquette, it was more of sort of a, she had a stronger sort of personality. And I truly believe had they gotten her to reprise her role in part 4, she probably would have tried to get out of Kristen's character being killed. But what I really liked is how they introduced Lisa Wilcox's character, Alice.
Yeah.
She's actually one of my favorite heroines in the entire series of movies.
And I especially love it when she actually starts developing her character instead of just being a scaredy cat.
Yeah. So, and not so mousy and whatnot. Now we get into part 5. Part 5 is where they get a little weird. The Dream Child. I don't know about that one so much. I don't know about that one.
Okay, well it gives you, the better backstory on
that's true.
Freddy's mom and his happenings, and the fact that you realize his mom was raped by that many maniacs, that it gives you a little more insight to Freddy than just thinking he's some homicidal bastard.
Yeah. I mean, because they give you little tidbits of information throughout the entire series. But yeah, part 5 was when they really do establish his, sort of, they really put his, how he was conceived and whatnot, it really does put it right in your face.
Granted, there's a lot in part 5 that doesn't really go for me. Especially when you discover that his mother was the one presenting them with the information.
Yeah. Though it did have probably one of the most memorable death scenes in the entire series, the motorcycle. That one was pretty cool. I don't know, the one with the doll, that was just kind of sick. So we move on to Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. They went so campy with this one.
It also comes in 3D. There's the plus.
They went so campy with that one, though.
Yeah, and it's... To me, most of that one is broken into parts that should go into other movies for me.
Maybe. It was pretty interesting that they introduced the whole daughter aspect of it. You never really knew Freddy had a daughter. But I think with all the cameos and whatnot, I mean, for me, I like it, but I think they were just trying too damn hard. I mean, it's like they said, this is going to be the last one, we're going to cram as much into it as humanly possible. Well,
and then you also realize that in that one, it's different than pulling him out of a dream in any of the other ones. Because you notice that, in a couple of them, their thing is, hey, we pull him from the dream world, bring him to reality, problem solved. And then you really learn that, the demons that give him his power.
Yeah, that's true. Oddly enough, I was watching Jason Goes to Hell last night, which, in around October, I'll be doing a full Friday the 13th review. And by that point in time, Freddy's Dead had come out. It seemed like when New Line acquired the rights to Jason Voorhees' character, and they made Jason Goes to Hell, it's almost like they tried to kind of sort of copy Freddy's Dead.
Yeah, and then you also have to realize, granted, Freddy versus Jason for me.
We'll get to that one. We still got to get to Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Yes.
Which, segue, I will. This was the first one that Wes Craven had worked on since Elm Street 3. He didn't direct Elm Street 3, but he had a hand in writing the screenplay. The only one he really directed was the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and then Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So, I mean, even though he created the Freddy character, he didn't have a lot to say with, the development and whatnot until you get back to Wes Craven's New Nightmare,
which for me, Wes Craven's New Nightmare was actually an insight on, reality and fantasy coming to life. Because you hear a lot about actors who, their character in one show and then they start acting like that character in reality, so.
I thought the story arc was kind of cool, though. Freddy, his character getting killed and Freddy's dead, but, that had been the personification of evil for so long that's, how evil wanted to present itself into this world in reality. I thought it was a pretty good story. It definitely speaks a lot to Wes Craven's sort of style of movie making.
And it does show an insight when you see how long he really can make his tongue.
You had to bring that out, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Freddy versus Jason. There's always been a debate, ever since that movie came out, who won that fight.
Jason.
Freddy.
Jason.
Freddy. Freddy won that fight. It was not Jason that beheaded Freddy Krueger. It was Monica Keena's character in that movie.
It was. But you also have to realize the twist right there at the end when Jason comes out of the water holding Freddy's head. Even though his fingers are missing, but he's still holding the head.
Freddy won that fight.
And the fact that Freddy winks at you while Jason is holding his head there, it does show and make it complicated to decide who really won that fight, because neither one of them really die.
That's true. Freddy won that fight, though.
Jason won that fight.
Freddy won that.
Jason come out in a bodily form while Freddy comes back as a head.
Alright, we have other people in this room. We're going to take a vote. Alright, who thinks Freddy won that fight? Say aye.
Aye.
1.
2 counting me. Who thinks Jason won?
Aye.
Shut up, Ricky. Jackass.
2-2. Didn't help you any. Use the tiebreaker.
Damien, who won the fight? You did? Okay, Damien won the damn fight. Okay. I didn't know we were discussing the Omen movies. Oh, and now the turd in the punch bowl, people. 2010's A Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Of which Robert Englund really hated. I think Wes Craven was okay with it, but Robert really hated that movie.
Because they butchered that film.
Oh yeah.
But then again, some of us went into it thinking it was going to be shit anyways because we love the originals more than any other movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, skeptic on our part, yes, but we were right in the end on judging it because that movie is ass.
There was just so many things wrong with that movie. First off, getting Jackie Earle Haley to play Freddy was just a bad decision. And there's news flying around now that they're going to remake it again, and Kevin Bacon's supposed to be playing Freddy.
Well, I mean...
No!
And they made the story more twisted in that one than the original to me.
Yeah. I mean, that thing has so many issues. They kind of touched on in Freddy being a pedophile in the first series with Robert Englund, but they didn't just put it all out in front. Another thing is, the legacy of Freddy Krueger in the original series movies, he was always presented as a child killer, even before he died. They didn't put that in the original in the remake either. They just made him some creepy little pervy guy. Another thing I didn't like is the fact that, you know, when they burned Freddy alive, he was kind of a little bitch. Whereas Robert Englund's Freddy, he was like, okay, I'll get you back. And he did.
And plus, in the remake, when they're supposedly killing him again, when they burned him in the school.
Yeah.
That just doesn't fit with how the series is supposed to go to me. Because, I mean, you notice in the other ones when they've tried putting him in fire before, it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, I mean, that's the whole reason he is back, is because they burn him alive, and the demons gave him the power to get revenge to collect them souls.
Yeah. The makeup was bad, the story was bad. It had a few okay parts. I think the scene at the end where Freddy like reaches through the mirror and yanks the mom through the mirror was okay.
Yeah, see, that scene, that one's okay with me.
Well,
But then again, it makes you think, okay, they just tried to kill him, he's back again. Same thing the originals are. They try to kill him, he finds a way back.
yeah.
And with this one, it doesn't even show you how he's finding a way back. It's just, you see their little hints of what they think is their victory, and they can finally get sleep, and they really can't.
Yeah. Just, it was a piss poor movie. Just piss poor all around.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking forward to if they go through with this remake, reboot, whatever the hell you want to call it, but I don't think Kevin Bacon's going to be able to pull this off.
That's because...
How the hell do you go from Footloose to Freddy? What the hell?
Well, I was going to say, then you realize, too, that we're Robert Englund fans in general. Robert Englund should be
Freddy.
for us. So, I mean, maybe he can pull it off. No, I don't actually have hopes for that,
Me neither.
but I'm trying to look at the positive side.
Granted, it's A Nightmare on Elm Street. I probably will go to the movies to watch it. I probably can't say I'm gonna like it though.
No, same here.
I think we've pretty much covered them all.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we're gonna go, including the remake. Make your list of your favorites from most favorite to least favorite.
Okay, that's simple. 3, 4, 1. One's kind of, you know, obviously not my favorite, but a really great movie. And then 5, 2, and 6.
Nice going, numbnuts.
So I think that would be the order for me. It would be 3, 4, 1, and then 5, 2, 6. And the remake last.
The remake will always be dead last.
If you throw in Freddy vs. Jason as part of the, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street series,
Oh yeah.
then that one would go after 1 for me. It would it's a tie.
I think for me it's 3, 4, 1. You know, kind of the same sequence you got going on there. Probably Freddy vs. Jason. 5, 6. Wes Craven's New Nightmare. 2. And then the remake. Because 2 for me, I don't know. No.
No.
They just went out of left field with part 2.
I think they were still experimenting from the original, trying to figure out what they wanted to do with part 2.
And they completely jacked up, you know, Wes Craven's creation in part 2. It was I think they were just looking for some kind of story, and they just, hey, let's make him gay. Which, oddly enough, Mark Patton came out as gay, so if you don't know who that is, that's the guy who played Jesse in Elm Street 2.
Hard question on this one. Out of all of the movies, what is your favorite death scene?
I was actually going to ask you that one. Thanks a lot, numbnuts. It's a toss-up, actually, between Tina from part 1 and Johnny Depp from part 1. Because, you know, the way he dispatched Johnny Depp's character, pulling him down into that bed, and then this geyser of blood just... that was like one of the coolest things that was ever put on film at that time. But if you compare it to Tina's death, who, you know, she had the first death in the entire run of movies, it shows just how vicious Freddy can be. You know, when the shirt rips open, just, you know.
You do have to admire the bathtub scene with Nancy, though, when the claws come up out of the water. And that shows you, you know, imagine the amount of pain he would have inflicted if she would have stayed asleep.
It also shows you that Freddy really is a pervert. Okay. I have one more question. We're going to do one more part of this. When, can you remember the first Elm Street movie you saw when you saw it?
I believe it was part 3. Was the first one I ever saw. And I was spending the night at Aunt Barbara's house.
It wasn't me.
No, it was not my uncle. It would have been my Aunt Barbara who showed me Freddy Krueger for the first time. Which is why I think I enjoy Freddy so much, because my mother is a Jason fan. I'm a Freddy fan. I think that's... I get it from my aunt.
I like them both.
Like them both, yes. But when it comes to choosing, me and Mom have the same argument me and you had. Freddy or Jason. Mom always says Jason, I always say Freddy.
I mean, as far as... Well, the argument we had was the who won the fight.
Oh, yes. But that's how our fights usually sound.
But, yeah, for me it's Freddy Krueger. The first time I watched any of the Elm Street movies, and this will show you how twisted my childhood was. I was like 5 or 6 years old, and me, my 2 sisters, and my mom were all gathered in my mom's bedroom. It was the world premiere, or HBO was going to do their premiere of A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, but they were showing the first Elm Street. They were kind of doing a double feature. So you have 4 people all just kind of piled on a bed. And like I said, I'm like 5 years old at the time. And, you know, we watched part 1 and then part 2 comes on.
Well, with me, I do believe that I was about 6 myself. And what it was Aunt Barbara was watching it, and I had walked in, and I had started to get into it. And then I said, he can't get me, right? And she says, no, he can't get you. It's a movie, and I've loved him ever since.
Yeah, I can't get my kids to watch our movies. They suck. Well, that's it for this video. If you have any comments or anything like that, leave them in the description down below. That's pretty much it. Hopefully you like this video. I'm going to be doing a lot more. Like I said, this is a tribute to Wes Craven. Love you guys.